Hello, my friends. Matt Hall here with the Network Marketing Mastery Podcast, and I'm excited in this episode to share with you a warning to hopefully realign some of your actions to better contribute towards your freedom. Freedom is the reason most people get involved and stay involved with network marketing on the business side. And we'll talk about a little bit more about why here in a minute. But this is a very, very important episode. Now, before we get into that, I am giving away $500 to those of you who are reviewing the podcast last week. And this week, we had 4 people who reviewed the podcast last week. So each one of you are going to get $50. We've got the names here. I know some of you. We've got Words Genius, not sure who you are, so please reach out to me. Catpan22, know who you are. We've got Alice Damasceno, who's going to get $50, and we've got Wagner 1990A. Those are the usernames that I've got here on the podcast app. Now, I know it takes some time sometimes for reviews to come in, so if your review has not shown up yet, let me know. It should show up within the next couple days. And if you have not yet left a review on the podcast, 6 more of you can win this week. If we get 6 more reviews on the podcast, I'm going to be giving $50 to each one of you. Now, if 10 people review, then I'm going to do a drawing and pick 6 of you to be also getting $50. So thanks for those of you who are subscribing and resubmitting your reviews or creating for the first time your reviews on the podcast since we lost them all this last year. Okay, with that, let's get into our topic of the day. Let's talk about freedom. Okay. Now, most times people get involved in our profession because they're looking for some kind of freedom. That might be freedom of time, meaning that you feel trapped in an environment where you're working, trading your time for hours, or your money for time, your hours for dollars, right? It might be that you feel trapped geographically. You want freedom geographically to be able to live closer to your family, or to be able to live somewhere else in the world or travel or whatever it may be. It might be freedom. It might be freedom emotionally to be able to feel peace in your life because you know that your income is dependent on your abilities, your skills, and your leadership, right? Now, freedom, this is a concept that I learned from GoPro, from Eric Worre, a couple of years ago in one of the GoPro events. And it's so important. And something happened just recently. I had a conversation with somebody and that sparked, it reignited my passion for this subject. So we all want freedom, okay? How do we get to freedom in a network marketing business? Well, like any business, if you want freedom, you're going to need leadership, right? So an owner of any traditional company, they're not going, in the beginning, typically you're a new entrepreneur, you wear a lot of hats and everything is dependent on you, right? You're the person who's doing the sales, you're the person who's doing the marketing, you're the person who's doing packaging, you're the person who's doing shipping, right? And you start to, as you grow a business, you might create roles and hire people and create a team, create leverage. Leverage is present in every large business that exists, right? Where you start to bring people on to help with these different roles. Now, as the business grows, an owner of any company, and it's the same thing for a leader in network marketing, you only truly achieve freedom when you have leadership that can replace you, right? Leaders, people that are as proficient or at least proficient enough in the things that you do as an owner of your business to be able to not invest all of your time into what you're doing, right? Or for it not to be limited by your time. So leadership is what creates freedom. And it's not any different in our business. In our business, if you don't have independent leaders, people who do not depend on you for their vision, they do not depend on you for the production. So they don't depend on your presentations. They don't depend on you at all for them to be building the business, then you're not really in a place of true freedom, right? Now, there's a process that we take new people through to get them to a place of leadership, right? So the first step here is systems. We have 3 different stages. First, dependence on systems, then the learning of skills, and then the developing of leadership. So systems, skills, and leadership. Now, when a brand new person joins in your network marketing business, you don't need to paint a picture at the very beginning of, hey, here's everything that you're going to have to do to become a 7-figure earner in this profession of network marketing in our company, right? That could be a little bit overwhelming. And so we usually start with people here at the first level of systems. Now, the whole point of a system, and I'll define this in a minute, but it's to help somebody get a result quickly in their business with limited skills, right? So the question is, do you have systems in place, whether it's online presentations that people can plug their invites into, whether it's scripts that are sent out so that people can overcome their fears and in a non-pressured way approach a few people and get some initial sales? Do you have some basic systems in place that you can take the newest recruit through where they can get a result even without having developed their skills yet? This is very, very important. This is where, my goal is always that when somebody signs up with us in our business, I want to get them some kind of financial result in their first week, and we do that through systems where either I'm showing up and presenting to their friends or I'm providing a script for them to get some initial sales. But there are systems in place, right? Now, the trick is a lot of leaders, and especially lately, I've seen so much talk about systems, scripts, things like this, that people forget about the next stages. They forget that to truly reach freedom, you can't simply have an army of people who are plugging into simple systems only, right? There has to be some development of the next stage, which is skills. And the skills in our business are really not that complicated, right? It's inviting, it's presenting, it's enrolling, being able to close prospects, it's being able to then launch new builders and support those that you have, become a mentor and things like that. So the skills are not super complicated, but and I'll tell you the problem with just depending too much on systems. But then after skills comes leadership, and you need to have a process in place that develops people into leaders and creates independence in them. And we've talked about different tips for doing this. But the warning I wanted to give you in this episode is, first of all, you cannot build a massive business without systems. You have to have systems in place to help the newest person get some results. But if you rely too much on systems and you forget to teach people skills, teach people how to present, teach people how to get creative, teach people how to create content, teach people these skills that are required, how to close people, then what can happen, and this is what happened recently. So I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who recently decided to let go of a business that he had been building for a long time and start building a new business, right? With a different company, okay? And you guys know this is not something that I recommend. I know there's times when it's a good idea, when it's needed, and when it can be the right thing for people. But usually it's not, okay? And this is a case where it really wasn't. And this individual, who's a friend of mine, it's really sad because he's decided to totally leave the profession of network marketing because of this experience, right? Hopefully we can, resurrect him because this is an amazing industry. But what happened is he was lured over to move businesses, to change the company that he was in, because he was told that there were these perfect systems in place that just guaranteed everybody results, that everybody was winning because this new leader who he was recruited from or by had all of these systems in place that just made it easy, right? And what this creates, if you are over reliant on systems, guess where people look when they don't have results, okay? Or when they don't have results as fast as they expect to or want to. If you recruit people into your organization, into your business, into your company, only based on the fact that you have systems in place, if they don't achieve results at the speed that they would like to, okay, then guess what they blame? They blame the system. Instead of looking in the mirror and saying, how can I get better? How can I improve? How can I get more creative? How can I market better our products? They blame the system, and then in turn the leadership in the company. And they'll say, it's not for me. It's not for me has stolen so many results away from dreamers, okay? You need to understand that in your business, you have to develop, if you want to achieve massive results and especially a level of freedom in your business, there's a progression, there's a transformation that happens within you, right? You do plug into systems and you use systems to create results for you and those who are joining, but also with the understanding that the system is only there to help the person get those initial results and stay long enough to develop skills, because developing skills takes time. Shifting your mindset takes time, right? Becoming a leader takes time. Usually it takes a year, 2 years to develop someone into a strong, independent, powerful leader, right? That doesn't depend on their upline. So it can take a year, it can take 2 years. It can be done faster, but I'd say as a general rule, that's probably a good average. Now, if you care about freedom and if you care about leading other people to freedom, don't oversell systems. Don't oversell systems and say, here's the magic script, this works for everybody, right? Here's the magic process that you're gonna plug into and you're gonna magically have results, right? Because what that's going to create is it's going to create frustration and it creates zero accountability. People need to know that this profession is a profession. It's a place where, yes, there's great systems, but you need to develop skills along the way. You need to develop your ability to become a leader, your capacity to see in other people their potential until they start to see it in themselves, your capacity to produce vision for others, to help other people run towards goals, overcome their fears, overcome their limitations, and become independent leaders so that you can create freedom. So this is just a quick warning I wanted to give in this episode. Systems are fantastic, but make sure that you're developing people's skills and you're developing their leadership. That's the episode for today, my friends. Again, thank you for those of you who have left positive reviews here on the podcast over the last week. This week, we're going to wait another week and I'll announce the next 5 winners, okay? Or the next 6 winners of $50. So if you're enjoying the podcast, if you're getting value, please go into your app, the network, into your podcast app, go to Network Marketing Mastery, and leave your positive review. Okay. With that, I hope you guys have an amazing day and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.